Hello and thank you for clicking on my channel. My name is A and this is a real movie podcast, and today I'm going to introduce you to top 5 worst video game movies. Before I get into the podcast, please don't forget to like and subscribe for daily content because a growing channel and everything. And without further ado, let's go. Number 5, we have Super Mario Bros. 1993. The reason why this movie is not higher on the list because this movie is so bad on many levels. I don't want to even say that if you look at this movie with a cinematic perspective, this movie is just not cinema. This movie is so bad. But this movie just became a cult classic, and still today I see so many memes, and this movie makes me laugh, and that's why it's not higher on the list. And the good thing is, this movie didn't take itself seriously. This movie was a total cash grab, and I think the producers of this movie, the writers, didn't even think about, okay, this video game cannot be a movie. There are some games that can be a movie, there are some games that cannot, and this movie fits into the latter. And in the near future, we have another Super Mario movie with Chris Pratt as the lead, and I don't want to even think about it. I just want to wait and see what will happen. Number 4, we have Mortal Kombat Annihilation. This list has brought me really dark memories because 3 of the top 5 movies are my favorite video games, but their movies was just so bad, and Mortal Kombat is one of them. I remember when I was a kid, I had this Sega and I played with my siblings. I always picked Nightfall or Sub-Zero or Noob Saibot, but Noob Saibot was a kind of a cheat code, so we couldn't pick him up. But yeah, I remember those days, and this movie just tear those days apart. Everything about this movie was bad. I don't know, the CGI looked extremely horrible. The actors just played on the worst level of their career. The way that they delivered every line, it was like watching a low budget porno movie. And I just want to know, what was the writers and directors of this movie thinking when this movie was out? And there is a really famous scene with Sindel and Kitana that you should not miss. This is just brilliantly bad. Number 3, we have another one of my favorite video games turned into a superbly bad movie, and it is called Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed was a real waste, in my opinion, because first of all, the actors of this movie were really good. We had Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard, and the video game had a really rich story and background, and it was such a good background and a story that could have been a great movie. But I don't know what happened in the process. They changed a few things, and the final result was just a superbly mediocre movie. So meh on so many levels, on every level. Number 2, we have my favorite video game of all time turned into a crappy movie, and it is called Max Payne 2008. So Max Payne 2 is my all-time favorite game. Whole Max Payne trilogy, I love them all, and I just can't wait to have another Max Payne. But Max Payne 2 is my favorite. Let's not talk about the video games, it's about the movie Max Payne. Max Payne movie was really bad in every level. It was just brilliantly bad. I mean, how could they massacre such a masterpiece of video game? The second game pulled it out of the video games and made that a movie. That movie would have been, I think that the rating on IMDb would be 9 out of 10 and everything would be great. But they just had to do something different. Mila Kunis's Mona was really good because it was so similar. But the Max Payne movie was a huge waste because just like Assassin's Creed, it had a really rich story and background, and they could have done a wonderful movie, but they just messed it up. That movie was a total cash grab, and as a Max Payne fan, as a hardcore Max Payne fan, I was really offended. And number 1, we have Resident Evil. You might say why I didn't specify one of them, and my answer is that all of them are extremely bad and a huge insult to the video game industry. How could they make this video game this bad in a movie? Resident Evil is not one of my favorite, franchises. I have other, for example, I talked about Max Payne, I also love Witcher, I also love Devil May Cry, but Resident Evil is not one of my favorite franchises, yet I can't deny what a wonderful game. They are really good, especially Resident Evil 4. They are really good, and they had a good story. Again, like Max Payne and Assassin's Creed, they were some of the video games that could have been great in a movie adaptation, but the opportunity was just lost. I don't even want to specify one of those movies. Recently we had another Resident Evil this year, in the beginning of the year, tried to be a bit different, but it just was again really crappy. And that's it. That's my top 5 worst video game adaptations in a movie, or I should say worst movies based on video games. Yeah, that's better. And yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me, what did you think? Do you have another one to add to the list? Actually, there are so many others, but this is my top 5. And thank you for listening to my voice. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.